Jewish tradition contains many meaningful practices dedicated to the events of our life cycle, especially the periods of grief and mourning. One of the most significant ways Jews mourn and memorialize loved ones is to recite Kaddish.
After a close family member has passed, our tradition calls upon mourners to recite Kaddish on behalf of the soul of the departed. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei Rabbah. May his great name be exalted and sanctified. People began to recite Kaddish in some form as far back as the 1st century. Kaddish was written in Aramaic, the language spoken by the Jews of the late Second Temple period. Originally, the Kaddish was recited after a rabbi's Torah discussion had concluded in the house of study, praising God's great name. When the rabbi passed away, his students would continue to learn his traditions, and his son would recite Kaddish, praising God in his late father's honor. During the 7th century Gaonic period, it was decided that Kaddish would now be said not only to honor great rabbis, but also to commemorate all loved ones who have passed on. To those mourning a parent, reciting Kaddish is even seen as part of the fulfillment of honor thy father and mother, the 5th of the 10 Commandments. Kaddish is now recited by mourners at every Jewish prayer service for 11 months after the burial of the departed, and every year on the yahrzeit, the anniversary of death. While the preferable option is for a close relative to be the one to recite Kaddish, anyone may take on the commitment to recite Kaddish for someone who is no longer with us.
Throughout Jewish history, scholars and community leaders were petitioned to recite Kaddish on behalf of those who could not. Today, many Jews around the world do not have the time or the opportunity to recite Kaddish 3 times a day at prayer services for their departed loved ones. ReciteKaddish.com has created a personal service where our rabbis will recite Kaddish dedicated on behalf of your loved one. At all daily prayer and holiday services throughout the year, your loved one's neshama, soul, will be elevated and remembered in the Jewish tradition through this powerful prayer.
I am humbled to take on the obligation to recite Kaddish for those who have passed on, fulfilling an important mitzvah that so many find difficult to fulfill themselves. Judaism explains that any act of kindness done for the departed is an example of chesed shel emes, the ultimate form of kindness. When a kindness is done for a living person, many might feel a need to return the favor, but in the case of Kaddish, that is simply impossible. To perform this chesed and help others in the mourning process is a tremendous responsibility that I take upon myself with great solemnity. As partners, we recite Kaddish on behalf of your loved one. God is praised in their memory, and their neshama, their soul, is elevated and brought closer to Him.
If you want to learn more about Kaddish or arrange for our rabbis to recite Kaddish for your loved one, go to ReciteKaddish.com.